Hello Flickering Myth family and welcome to our channel. My name is EJ and in this video we are going to be looking at the new Indiana Jones film. The Dial of Destiny is almost upon us and we need to talk about this movie. Yes, in this video we will dive into everything that went wrong with Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. What a painful experience this movie was. One of the most lackluster blockbusters I've seen in quite some time. These are the type of movies I'm more critical on than a low-budget indie film or something that doesn't have like $200 million behind it and so much hype. And boy, it is a letdown and a half. This movie doesn't know what it wants to be. It is somehow one of the most chase-filled movies. There is so many action chase scenes, but none of them are engaging or thrilling. I would say maybe the first 20 minutes of this movie, which is kind of a flashback to set up the actual story, I was entertained by that. That actually kept me going. But once that stops and we start into the present day story, oh my goodness, a tedious, painful experience. I just don't understand what the hell happened here. I know what the hell happened. We'll discuss it in the next 3 sections of this review. Yeah, we have a lot to discuss. What happened? What is the story? And yes, the Harrison Ford of it all. That's one of the biggest problems with this movie. Love the guy, but goodness. Yeah, let's get into the review because we have a lot to discuss. This is what I describe as a low-energy action movie. There is a lot happening. Like I said, this movie is 75% chase scenes, but you don't feel engaged. You don't feel compelled. Why? The stakes in this movie are strange. It just doesn't really allow me to feel engaged because at times I don't feel like Indiana Jones is ever in risk of anything. Yeah, that's a weird complaint to have sometimes, but yeah, again, I can't get invested into the story because I'm not allowed to feel a sense of urgency, a sense of, oh my goodness, this has to get done. It just feels like, it's like I don't know, it feels like a rerun. There's a lot of this that feels been there, done that, which helps this feel slower, more dated than it needs to feel. That is one of the major complaints I have. This movie feels like it's from 30 years ago, and not in the nostalgic, oh, back in the day they made great movies. This feels like a movie from the pacing, from the action, from the dialogue. It feels so dated, so cliched, so old school. Again, I think maybe it's the modern sensibility of me as a viewer, but I love 70s films. I love 50s films. I love movies from the 1930s. I would watch a silent film. I don't give a damn. Nosferatu, one of my favorite movies of all time. So, the nostalgia, the classicness of this isn't necessarily a problem for me, but it feels old school in the, oh my goodness, we're really still going on with this scene. It's just slow and prodding. We never really get to the end goal. And then by the time we get to the end, we'll talk about the plot. You're just like, that's it? We worked all of that for this? What a weird, low-energy movie that this ended up being. I wanted to feel compelled by each and every scene. I wanted to enjoy the comedy moments, but the comedic beats are not there. This is a very not fun movie. Not every movie needs to be fun, entertaining. I just reviewed Secret Wars, and I love that it's a joyless experience, but this movie wants to be funny. It wants to have a lighthearted adventure to it, but it's just not there. It just never hits the level it wants to hit. It almost feels like somebody trying to make an Indiana Jones movie, like an homage to Indiana Jones, than actually making something in this prestigious long-running franchise. Well, I don't know how prestigious it could be after, Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, but still, you know what I mean. Again, I even think Crystal Skull feels more modern at that time, more up-to-date. This movie wants to feel modern in the sense of the editing. Boy, they don't stay on a scene for longer than 5 seconds. It's quick cuts, very Marvel edit to hide the aging stuntman that has to be there for Harrison Ford. But in general, it's just so quick cut that it wants to be fast, in your face, against a prodding story. It's a conflicting movie and it makes you feel conflicted as you're watching. Indiana Jones is about to enter retirement, mostly from his teaching job, but he's almost too old to be the Indiana Jones that is the Tomb Raider of, that we know. So he is like, I'm done with this. But he is thrusted back into it when a old school Nazi, played by Mads Mikkelsen, decides to find the Dial of Destiny, as they will call it, that is, he wants to basically shape the history as he sees fit. So he believes this dial will allow him to do that. And he is having to face off with Indiana Jones. They know each other from the past, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I know Indiana Jones fights Nazi. That is the bare bones plot of this. We've seen it once. You've seen it 100 times. We also have Phoebe Waller-Bridge's character, who is known as Helena here. She's cool at times. The movie starts her off dope. I love her. I'm in with her. And then halfway through, they make her so insufferable. To be honest, every character in this movie is insufferable that I don't want to spend time with them. I often say movies are like hanging out with friends. Like, oh my goodness, I loved spending my time with these characters. But as we went on this adventure with Indiana Jones and Helena, it's just miserable. We'll talk about Harrison Ford feeling miserable throughout the whole movie, which makes Indiana Jones miserable, blah, blah, blah. But again, all of the characters, not just Indiana Jones, every single one of them just felt tedious and that I didn't want to be there with them, which is, again, a hard thing when I'm in a movie for almost 2.5 hours where you want to be with these characters. Then let's add in a precocious kid, very Indiana Jones type of kid, short round, you get it? He was very annoying. I love Ki Kwan, but the character's annoying. Kid characters in this movie, very annoying. When did we not learn our lesson? What is going on? So yeah, the plot takes us through adventure after adventure, and then by the time the end comes, we're like tomb raiding for 2 seconds. It felt like, oh yeah, remember the time that, Indiana Jones goes into caves and does cool, mystery adventure stuff? Let's just shove that in real quick because that's what fans are expecting. What a lackluster moment there. And then we get to the final act, which is laughable, which is oh my goodness, y'all are really thinking this? The whole end of this, it's a big battle. I don't want to spoil it, but it's just that y'all really thought that was going to slap. They swore we were going to go, oh, wow, what an adventurous moment. And baby, it is not that. Oh, Harrison Ford. Look, I love and respect this actor. Harrison Ford has been grinding in this industry since the 70s. A figure that we love. I love watching Harrison Ford in an interview recently when he was just like, what is a Red Hulk? Great. Hilarious man. But that does not mean I need to see him in movies anymore, especially because it doesn't seem like he wants to be there. Oh my goodness. Let's start off with the de-aging of Harrison Ford, a big talking point in this movie. Kind of the introduction of this. We see a classic Indy adventure. He's de-aged. It looks good CGI-wise, but what's really off-putting is he moves like an old man and he sounds like an old man. So you're just like, he has a young face, youthful face, old body. It's like, what was it, The Irishman with Robert De Niro when they try to de-age him, and it's just like, well, that is an old man kicking somebody. You can't change an old man's body. You can make him look younger in the face, but you can't make him look younger in the body unless you CGI them all, which they do at times with Ford here. Oh my goodness, so we got the de-aging out of the way. Modern day Indiana Jones in this story is a miserable, grumpy old man, and that means we spend 2.5 hours with a miserable, grumpy old man. You know that one relative, the older relative who talks about politics or just goes on rants about back in my day? That is Indiana Jones in this movie, and it is not fun to deal with. Again, I understand not every character needs to be fun, but when our lead character, I don't want to be with him at all, then why am I here? Then what is the point? Like, Harrison, bro, I know you want paychecks. I know you want to, fund your plane adventures. Good for you. You and Calista Flockhart deserve a great life. But do I need to deal with you, sleepwalking through movies? I don't know, sis. I don't think that's what we need. It's just hard because, this character, you want to be engaged by it. He's a fun, this is one of the most iconic Harrison Ford performances, but he's so lacking the charm that originally got him to this point. And then the end of this movie robs him of his agency, robs him of any, wow, Indiana Jones really made a decision for himself. I love that for him. You do what you want to do, baby. That doesn't happen. And then I'm just like, what is the end of this movie really pissed me off. I was truly the last 30 minutes, I was just checking the time, which I never do. Checking the time, hated that I did that. And then the end happens and I'm like, so what was the point? I feel like that Cardi B, meme where it's what was the reason? What was the reason for this movie? By the end, I was just like, we almost end the movie where we began. We mend one relationship for Indiana Jones's life. Sure, great. But that is about it. That's the only progression we got character-wise throughout this whole film. It is just wild that they really shot this, edited this, kept this on ice for a little bit and said, yep, this is great. Cool, let's release this. Yay. No yays here. Well, that is everything I felt went wrong with Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. I want to have more positive praise for this movie, but there's not a lick of anything I could say, yeah, I really like that. Like, yay, Nazis got their ass kicked in this movie. Always love seeing that. That's fine, but that can only get me through so much. Like, oh my goodness. We would meet characters and they would die like 10 minutes later, and I'm like, so what was the point of meeting them? Harrison Ford just doesn't want to be here, and the plot is abysmal. Wow, that is the Dial of Destiny. Hope you guys love it. Oh my god, if you guys like this review, truly, what the hell is this? Alright guys, what did you think of this review? What are you guys thinking of Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny? If you've seen it already, share your feelings down in the comments below. If you haven't, are you going to be checking it out? Did my review sell you on it, or did it scare you from it? Share your feelings down in the comments below. Subscribe to Flickering Myth because we make videos like this every single week. And give me a thumbs up if you did enjoy all of this. Oh my goodness, let's talk about this movie down below.